Oh, look. Cows. Cows, y'all are in a funny... I had some calves to sell, and I saw him somewhere and mentioned it or something. He said, well, I'll come out and look at them. So he came out here and he bought my calves, and then our whole little love life started up all over again. It was 15 years ago, and now I'm 96, so I was, how old? 80? So we were no spring chickens. But it was not like going with somebody all new. Everything to do with ranching has always meant a lot to me since I was a little kid. My mother was a Giles, and her dad bought this ranch over 100 years ago. During the war, I was just up here a lot. I took care of all the Booth cattle and sheep and goats, everything. None of the other girls cared about that, and there were no boys around. That's when I started going with Ed, that long ago. He leased a place out here. He leased all this land for his cattle, and he was just starting out. And he didn't have any money, so I think he went to every bank in Texas, and they finally loaned him the money to buy about 20 cows. And I was 17, and he was around 4 years older. Tried to get in the Army, but he couldn't. He was too beat up from what all he'd done roping cows. From then on, we were together a lot. If I didn't have a horse, I'd just sit behind him on the back of the horse and do whatever he did. I'd just hang on for dear life. I thought he had big ears. And I always told him, all I have to do is hang on to your ears to stay on. Maybe because he was skinny, they looked big when I was sitting behind him on a horse. Well, in 43, he moved to the family ranch near Batesville. There are pictures of that little shack he lived in there. And he always said he had running water. He'd get his bucket, run up to the tank, get water, and run back. There was a local rodeo going on, and we all went to the rodeo, and we were sitting in the stands, and then they all of a sudden started calling my name. Miss Dottie Beckman wanted at the stands. I said, what in the world is that? I went down there, and there was Ed with the horse all saddled up for me to be in the barrel race. And he always said, Dottie, it's because you look the most like a barrel. Which I did not look like a barrel then. Anyway, so I said, well, okay. I'd never been in the rodeo before. So I got on the horse and I rode 2 days and I won $11, $11 for my big ride in the rodeo. Sometimes I wonder now why I got married and didn't marry Ed. It was such a completely different life. I made my debut, actually. Oh, I thought that was so silly. But my mom was in the hospital, and my dad wanted me to do all that, so that was a whole social world in San Antonio. Then I met Roy then, and married Roy. This is Roy here. He was cute. He was a really neat person, but we liked much different things. I was so independent before. I was out here so much. And I think our divorce was more that we were just so different. If I hadn't married Roy, I wouldn't have Patty, Alfred, and Roy. Ed came out here, and he bought my calves, and then we started all over again. And maybe it was fine that we separated for a while. I guess maybe we appreciated each other more. Who knows? We really had a lot of fun together in those last few years. Of course, he couldn't do the cowboying that he did before, but he still ran the ranch. One of those paint cows he gave to me because some bull got into his cows and he ended up with all these funny paint cows that he did not want. So he gave me one of them. 15 years of just making up for what we lost, I guess, way back. And we were together when he died, just out in the pasture and walking back because we got stuck in the mud way out in the back pasture. So we started walking back, and all of a sudden I realized he just couldn't do it. And we got so far walking through the mud, and he just collapsed, sort of. Said, Dottie, I can't go on. We have that. The one time we didn't bring a phone with us, so I couldn't phone for help. And it was real hot summer down there in South Texas, and it took me a long time to walk back to the house because I was about 4 or 5 miles away. I barely made it back to the house, and I started hollering. Somebody heard me and kind of helped me back to the house, and then they went back out, and Ed was dead right where I left him. So that's the way it goes, and that's the way he would have wanted to go, out in the pasture. A real nice love affair through the years, I guess. Mixed up in time. Every evening we'd like to go out the tank because it was so pretty, and the birds would come in and the ducks would come in, and I guess we did drink a wine or something out there. It was always so nice. It was so beautiful, seeing the sun go down, and the moon come up. It was just nice. It's so nice to be able to end up that way, you know. We were very, very lucky. These are the letters from Anne. Every single letter had a different cowboy scene on it. But I'd get a letter once a week practically. Oh God, I've got so much stuff.